Hello and welcome back to another video here with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. This time I want to talk about the Paris Fanfest keynote and all of the details that were shared there, so if you don't want to watch through an entire VOD just to get the information, I have you covered. Bear in mind this will contain spoilers for Shadowbringers, so viewer discretion is advised. So the keynote address on the Saturday, the 2nd of February, began with the extended trailer for Shadowbringers being revealed. In short, it was roughly the same trailer we've seen from the Las Vegas Fan Festival, however the whole music during the trailer was rewritten to include the extended nature and additions. The additions to the trailer included a scene with Y'shtola being directly addressed as Master Matoya in a shrouded gown by a now astrologian outfitted Urianger. Clearly a lot has been going on, and there are potential implications that Matoya might be potentially possessing the lifeless body of Y'shtola whilst her soul is missing, but that's speculation at this point, which is obviously better saved for my trailer breakdown later in the week. Other scenes include an extended battle with Thancred fighting the winged lion with his gunblade, reloading the magicked ammunition and the like, which is just beautiful. It's purely poetry in motion for sure. After the trailer, producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV, Naoki Yoshida, comes out on stage dressed as the Thancred Gunbreaker outfit. The first slide mentions multiple new jobs, and no number is given. However, they then reveal that the first new job is called Gunbreaker, of which they show a reveal trailer featuring a player character using all manner of slashes and reloading techniques of the gunblade to inflict damage on what appears to be a new monster model, this armored armadillo type thing. They say Gunbreaker will be a tank job, the 4th tank job of the game. Using a gunblade, these new tanks will start at level 60. Apparently their starting location will be Gridania, and this was done to make the job more accessible so that you can get straight into Shadowbringers content, and Gunbreakers use slashing damage enhanced with magicked ammunition, and they execute their abilities by spending this ammunition. It looks quite interesting to say the least, and I cannot wait to try it out. The next part of the keynote went over briefly what we know from the Las Vegas Fanfest, including the question of what happens next with the storyline. They're giving nothing away due to the fact that we haven't even had part 2 of 4.5 yet, which should answer a few things, so we can expect more storyline reveals at the Tokyo Fanfest after we've got this in-game. They mentioned 2 new zones, one of which we knew about, the Raktika Greatwood, said to host a particular race, which of course is presumably the Viera, which they show some footage of, and also a new zone called Ilmeg. This is a sprawling fantasy-inspired zone, filled with hills, floating flowers, and generally a bright colour palette with green, pinks, and whites. They come back to Ilmeg details a lot later, but the music in this section is absolutely fantastic. I wish I could share it with you, but you know, copyright is a thing. The basic information is given again to recap that the level cap goes up to level 80, and that there will be 9 new dungeons available at launch, and of course a new 8-man raid series. The Restoration of Ishgard got a slide here talking about how it will be the endgame content for Disciple of Hand and Land classes, with the eventual unlock of housing, which they don't go into any further detail. Next up they talk about the trust system, of which we finally get a good statement on. Will be designed to make it so that you can go specifically through Shadowbringers dungeons with NPCs instead of players, making DPS queue times a thing you don't have to consider for any of the new content. They mention nothing about the use in anywhere but Shadowbringers content, and only so far the 4-man dungeons have been talked about at this point. This then actually gets a screenshot of a player character fighting alongside the now black mage equipped Y'shtola, Urianger as an astrologian healer, Thancred as a tank, and you as the DPS there. But this will obviously change with a large number of NPCs, they say, at your disposal that you can unlock, which is exciting. New Game Plus gets slightly mentioned in a slide where they talk about how you will be able to do the old storyline missions actively on your main character without affecting your current main storyline progression, which seems more like just a way to do the quests again. They say that past MSQ, past Chronicle quests, and past job quests can now be repeated at your current level and current gear, and when they are done you can go back to the current progression of the game with nothing changed. We didn't get any clarification if we could level other jobs through this system and the direct requirements yet, but I'm sure that somebody will ask that at some point in the future. World Visit got a slide and it will be ready for patch 4.57, which is what, in late March, early April, something like that. This is when the data centers will get split, so by then we need to figure out what server we're going to play on. Personally, I refuse to be uprooted by this system on my server Ragnarok I currently play on. I started here, I have friends here, I have homes and a lot of ties that I won't be throwing away. It sucks that it's getting split on the EU side, making the smallest data center even smaller, but if you want to play with me, we have an FC set up with an open door policy, and I'm encouraging people to come over and enjoy the fun for Shadowbringers. And now the keynote goes the direction of a brand new content section. Firstly, the announcement that the new zone previewed before, Ilmeg, will host a new resident beast tribe, the Pixies, whom are apparently powerful in the arcane arts and are also known to be tricksters. They designed a language specifically for these Pixies to speak called the Fae, which is similar to how they designed the Draconic language in Heavensward with the dragons. And of course, with a new beast tribe comes a new primal to fight, their regent of the Pixies, Titania. They say the storyline is secret as to why you would want to fight such a beautiful creature, but it'll sure to be very exciting. The next part of the keynote is just insane. They announced the next Alliance Raid series, and specifically that Yusuke Saito, the executive producer of Nier Replicant and the Gestalt series, and Yoko Taro, the game designer behind Nier Automata and the Drakengard series, will be working together on Yorha Dark Apocalypse, which we get this amazing mocked screenshot of. They had a small interview in footage that they played on stage with the two talking about the event, and they admit that it's all very much at the planning stage and give very little away, but the comedic nature of these two is likely to rub off on the game for sure, with at one point the two saying Naoki Yoshida has lost his mind and that this will be the final Final Fantasy, which was frankly hilarious to see. After a short bout of saying this is over, right, we announced everything and more camaraderie, they finally brought up a slide to announce the new playable race, the Viera. Showing off the female Viera in this piece of footage, they mentioned how much time and attention they've put into the design, and it really does look astonishing. The facial expressions, the hair, the feet, it's just incredible and very faithful to Final Fantasy XII and Tactics, making some of the current races we have look a little outdated in my opinion. No news is given here on a gender lock, however during a press conference I attended, which I'll actually do a video on later, they did answer the question on male Viera with a look forward to Tokyo Fanfest, so that should be at least confirming that they probably won't leave the male gender hanging. However, I'm still curious if it will be male Viera or something else like the rumoured Ronto. We'll just have to wait and see. Aside from the usual promotional information and plugs about the collector's edition, which I already looked at in a previous video, this pretty much wrapped up the first day of Fanfest's main news, and indeed the keynote. I'll be doing the live letter breakdown and the associated press conference I talked about in further videos to come. Thank you kindly for watching, let me know what you are most excited about from this keynote, and I'll see you all next time.